Why some people become entrepreneur while others don't? Are there any secrets to become an entrepreneur? Is there a best practice to do so safely and eventually gain satisfaction in life from such endeavors? How do you prepare yourself differently if you want to be an entrepreneur? Welcome to the Business, Innovation and Entrepreneurship Series, Part 1. In this part, we talk about the steps to become an entrepreneur. There are 2 other parts. Their links are provided at the bottom. Part 2 talks about the elements of business. Part 3 talks about the elements of a startup. The steps to become an entrepreneur involves many aspects. Every time we give one answer, you will hear this. Let's begin. No matter if you are a Google employee, or a college professor, or a teen coding prodigy, starting up is hard for everyone. Most people don't understand how others become entrepreneurs. In fact, most people become entrepreneur out of ignorance or desperation, and some even succeed. Most people are confident. They see the tip of an iceberg, but they don't know about the hidden part of the iceberg. Some people think forever and never act. Some people start and then fall into long, deep struggle. Very few people become Elon Musk and Steve Jobs. We will explain how one becomes an entrepreneur. To become an entrepreneur is a 3-pronged story. It is about you. It is about business. It is also about a company. These 3 must mature and click together. To become an entrepreneur is forever learning. Business is forever learning. How does someone buy your products? It is a 3-step process. First, your product must enter a market. Second, the customer must come to the market and find you. Third, the customer must buy what you try to sell to them. The customer buying process is called a funnel as the customers take long time to make a decision. First, a customer perceives a problem. Secondly, a customer starts to search and research. The customer goes to a market to evaluate alternatives and reach a purchasing decision. If they decide to purchase from you, congratulations. However, they may want to return the purchase after they take it home to evaluate. Overall, 1 million fans online turns into 10 visitors to your store. Generally speaking, out of 100 visitors to your store, 3 to 5 will buy. This is called conversion rate. This is by assuming you have a high-quality, low-cost product and it indeed solves the problem for them. A customer must perceive the benefits. They only buy benefits. They pay for the price and take home the values part. When you start to build your business, you are in fact spending money to build a machine. This machine is a money machine for you and your family. This machine will attract customers, then hand them something, and they will pay. This machine takes money and vision to build. If someone already has it, you must surpass it. If no one has it, you must prove to yourself and the world that this benefit is relevant. There are 2 types of starts. Casual solo startups tries to build the machine without spending money and cannot raise money. In the end, the revenue of such business is very small. A real company spends money to make money. The ones that spends a lot sometimes is rewarded with a lot. Gillette spent $4 billion to make a new razor blade. Boeing spent $10 billion to make a new airplane model. Business does not mean you work to make money. In business, you build a machine system to make money for you. The machine is a system of value-providing methods. To build such a system, there is no formula. There is no straight path. If something seems easy, it is mostly because it is wrong. After someone struggles to success, people like reporters would analyze their path and attribute every twist and turn to intelligence. That is not the case. No one can follow the successful person to become successful. Success has no textbooks. The trying part is the textbook. Many people expect to put some efforts and get success. They drastically underestimate the degree of difficulties of entrepreneurship success. However, it is impossible to convince anyone about this point. This is the part that only experience can teach. Entrepreneurship start is not the right of smart people. It is intelligence meeting the right timing. If you go to watch a movie, you are likely to miss it because it is only shown at certain time. If you are trying to start a business, you are likely going to not succeed because business run on the clock of opportunity. Just passion alone is not enough. Just being good is not enough. You can only do something you love and you are very good at. Otherwise, you don't stand a chance. You won't last, and you cannot compete. Let's take a short break. In the next section, we will discuss exactly how to start. Almost everyone has problem choosing an idea. They have many great thoughts. They have clever ways to solve problems. They have many projects they cannot wait to do. However, they cannot commit. Either they are afraid of commitment, or they are afraid of making wrong decisions. They don't want to shortchange themselves. No one becomes an entrepreneur accidentally. It is just like no one get married accidentally. It is a result of long-term interest followed by long-term learning and followed by long execution. Becoming an entrepreneur is a deliberate act. One must focus. One must build and enter a store. One must build and market a product. The three critical elements are focus, store, and product. Unfortunately, many people think entrepreneurship is based on clever thinking and magical cleverness and luck. These can only help, but never determine the outcome. Entrepreneurship is not based on imagination or cleverness, and people with many ideas don't win. Person who focus and build wins. Think about how the newly hatched turtles enter the ocean. They are entrepreneurs. They don't know the risk they're about to take. That is exactly how entrepreneurs started. The survival of individual entrepreneurs is but a statistical fact. Many would not make it because they have no experience, and the experience often are deadly. Most people can never start again after one failure. That is unfortunate, because their success might well lie at the second time start. Focus now. Start now. There are 6 ways to think about this decision. Most people's first decision is wrong. Start, and then find the good idea. Execution takes time. Don't spend time thinking. You should target a small success, but a solid one. Big success comes after you finished the small success. There is a whole world in a small niche. It takes time to learn and be number one. It will reward plenty. There is a whole world in a small niche. It takes time to learn and be number one. It will reward plenty. Even a small pizza restaurant will reward plenty. Even a minor copycat video platform for gaming would reward plenty. You don't have to change the world. No one becomes big instantly. They all grow from small. Here are 6 pointers to get started instead of thinking and planning in vacuum forever. In life, what you give up is truly yours. What you hoard and cannot decide is just not yours. First, focus. There is another world when you focus. Shoot first, aim later. Try to start as early as possible. You will have time to recover from mistakes. For your first time effort, shoot low. Don't try to change the world as a teenager with no experience. Don't try to become a billionaire in no time. You are inviting scammers into your life. Remember, all ideas must be planned, and all plans must be executed. It always takes a lot of hustle to make the simplest idea work. Work on one idea, finish it, start another. Hurry. Don't spend forever debating which 2 ideas to keep. None of that belong to you. Entrepreneurs must go through the market. Any idea without the knowledge of market and market dynamics is not productive. If you are a great shooter, then entrepreneurship is to shoot at a target through the window of markets. If you do not understand the market, you will never be able to land your shots on the target. If you are an A student, the market rules are made by the B, C, D, E, and F students. Market has no logic. It is mainly regulations, standards, and barriers. Marketing helps big companies with efficiency, but hinders the speed of small ones. Only big companies and dedicated companies can make a profit. Most companies only make living or stuck without growth. To make a profit, you must reduce the cost, not increasing the price. To make sure people would be your asking price, you must provide value. People pay a price for the product, but takes home the value. Value is oftentimes a reflection of quality, which again is a result of research and spending. Only large companies can afford to spend heavily, make high-quality products or offerings, and control their cost to be very low. In doing so, they secure both the price-setting position and the lower source cost. Their overall profit is small for each product, but they make up for the heavy investment through large volumes. Companies like Coca-Cola, Amazon, Apple all win based on scaling. Without scaling, none of these companies would work, because they cannot justify spending, and hence cannot command high price, and cannot secure low source cost. Don't do things because they are easy. When you are in the entrepreneurship path, the barrier you climb becomes the obstacle for followers. It is important to pick big hard problems to tackle, even though it costs more money to do and must involve partners. Business becomes big by growing. Big companies do not become large overnight. Most start with a small niche. Amazon started selling books, and then they pivoted to include more markets. Pivoting and growth is the reason why companies are big. No large company is large at the beginning. Business startup begins with designing the business. The second stage is to develop the offering or products. With the product in hand, you can then enter the marketing phase. After sufficient time of survival, growth, and profiting, a company starts to be known and remembers. This is the ideal startup path. However, nothing is ideal. Most startup is preceded by a fake start, where a founder struggles for 2 to 5 years. This is necessary learning of both business knowledge and market knowledge. Founders do not come out of nowhere. They did not skip school or quit job abruptly. They go through schools and jobs just like everyone else. The sooner you start the fake start journey, the sooner you will learn the mindset of businessmen. Once you have the mindset, you can design and build any business. One does not become an entrepreneur by learning at school. Schools teach you how to get out of school. From school to an entrepreneur, you must touch the industry and understand the niche market. School knowledge does not cover nearly 1/10 of what is needed to become an entrepreneur. Remember, just making advanced things is not the solution. 1. No one needs to buy anything new. Second, there are a large population on Earth and everyone will be lucky just to own a small niche. There is no need to go beyond the horizon. Just broadening existing horizon is enough. Never be greedy, although it is easier said than done. Many would-be entrepreneurs are motivated students. As a student, your job is to do well at school. However, you should know it is not enough for anything. You must gain the mindset by entering into business. After that, you should watch for opportunities and then quit your job and take the plunge. If you do not quit your job, you will really never learn. However, the cost of mistake is very high, especially for adults. Keep that in mind. The correct way is to gain the mindset through a side hustle while at school or at job. Elon Musk started to sell a software game he made at age 12. Learn to sell something. You will see the world from the seller's lens. It is invaluable. You will fail many times, but it will give you strength. You will learn things never taught at MBA or other programs. After you gained the mindset, you wait for opportunity and strike. After you start to strike, you make plays, pivot, learn, and hustle for as long as necessary until you have something. At the very lower corner of this diagram, we have schools and jobs. It is where most people spend their entire life. Entrepreneurs make long expeditions out of this zone. First, entrepreneurs must get in touch with a certain industry or market and accumulate internal knowledge. Then one has to make a deliberate act of starting a new business. You either compete with an existing one, or you build one from scratch and navigate the success. Let's take a much-deserved break for 30 seconds. A founder is a builder. He or she build the product, build the store, and build the validation. A company is built, not conceived. If you don't build something, it must not be important enough. Certainly you can ask others to build it for you, but the quality will be generic. Certainly you can ask others to build sales channel for you. Again, it will be mediocre. Only things you build yourself will satisfy high standard, and minimal anything product will never sell. Your offering must has high quality and consistency of quality. If you cannot control quality, you cannot control your business. Here is how an idea becomes a reality. First, an idea has to be made into an MVP, minimal viable product. It is called an artifact in business school. You must practice building it. Stop thinking, start building. Third step, you must validate that the product is safe. This validation process can only be made in factories, where you have enough such products being made. Once you have the warranty, you can seek acceptance into a marketplace where you can sell your products. Marketplace has customers. If people indeed pays you for your product, and they give you 5-star rating, your product has become a merchandise. Success of entrepreneurship is learned by learning in practice, not in books. This is called experience. Every mistake you make is an asset for you, because only you know there is a trap there. Your competitor does not know. How do you know what sells? You don't. Your best logical design will fail. Your strategy is to try, fail, until you succeed. Everyone goes through this, even the great ones. Media and books just don't mention their mistakes and confusions out of respect perhaps. But mistakes open doors. An entrepreneurship master should teach you to make mistakes fast, safely, and learn. Entrepreneurship is learning in a sort of school, only that the school is in the parallel realm of so-called real life. You learn in the business world, you learn by building and selling. Most people don't succeed simply because they cannot have time to correct their mistakes anymore. Don't be afraid of failures. Make good failures. Like Elon Musk. In conclusion, as a student or employee, your steps are the following. Learn to sell, build, and then sell. Focus on one. Try until you get the mindset. Watch opportunity and launch. Continue to build and learn, try everything, until you succeed. Grow your business, or build another after finishing one.
In summary, there are 4 steps to starting an entrepreneurship. The number one step is to learn to sell. If you can't sell things, then you're not going to be able to sell things that you made. Step number two is to learn to build. You have to have unique things to sell. Where do you get unique things to sell? You can either get them by buying from source, but whatever you can buy, other people can buy too. And the third step is to learn to sell what you built, which is the hardest. A lot of people cannot sell what they built, and they cannot build what can sell. They cannot reach the quality that is needed. They cannot control the cost. And step number 4 is easy. If you have the capital, if you have the freedom, try as many times as possible until you succeed. All the so-called successful people got their success this way. Elon Musk started to sell software that he built himself at age 12. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak started to sell the blue box that they made themselves at the age of 16. Bill Gates started to build and sell a traffic counter at age 16. All the so-called successful people started very early. If you have assembled a great idea, how do you do it? There are 9 stages to go from an idea to a growth company. The first stage is obviously assembling ideas. The second stage is to build. You have to build a product that other people can see. You cannot just talk. Show, never tell. You want to be able to have seed money. Without any money, you can't do anything. Although great entrepreneurs manage to do great things with small amount of capital. But it's very unlikely someone can do great things with no capital. After that, the stage 4 is validation of sales. You have to prove that the qualified buyers do demand what you want to offer. A lot of times you offer something to other people and other people just says, who cares? I don't want to. I don't want to buy it. And that's the end. No matter how logical it is that you think other people will need it, they just don't want to buy it. Stage number 5 is to get funding. You can't go far without funding. You can't go far without partners. Although the investors are not the partners, but investors can make partners come. And investors can have a lot of people working with you or for you. Stage number 6 is to enter the market. You have to go into the market. The market is made up of people, and there's a lot of hidden rules. The rules are never told, never written in any books. There's a lot of deep knowledge, deep secrets. Stage number 7 is to try to get to profit. If you have people who buy it, if you have people who buy it from a market, you might have revenue. You might even have enough revenue. But if you cannot make profit, then everything is not worth it. You have to be able to earn your profit through quality control and cost control. Stage number 8 is to build the barrier. If you cannot build a barrier, then other people will just follow you through, and you don't want this. In that case, if you don't have a barrier, you're just illuminating the way for others to follow. Stage 9 is to scale. You have to grow. You have to scale. You have to build monopoly. Otherwise, enemies will be soon at your door. Progression from a good student to a good entrepreneur is counterintuitive. First, you have to be a good student. If your idea of being an entrepreneur is to start business, to ditch school, ditch job, you won't go very far. The second step is to gain the mindset. A lot of people do not have the mindset when they start their first business. They fail. Although they do gain their mindset, their failure is probably not something that they can recover from. They have spent a lot of time, spent a lot of money. The easiest way is to gain the mindset through low cost, low capital exercises, side hustles. And the third step is to plunge, is to take the right opportunity and take a plunge. Unless you take a plunge, unless you quit your job and really start, you will never become an entrepreneur because you always have some lifesavers. You always have your safety and you will never learn. You never learn the real deal. Step number 4 is to execute and struggle for a long, long time. There you hustle, you build, you learn, you grow. So it takes 4 steps to go from a great student to a great business person.
What is the job of a CEO? How is a CEO and founder different? What do most CEOs know but founders don't? Welcome to the Business, Innovation and Entrepreneurship Series, Part 2. In this part, we talk about the elements of business. We discuss elemental MBA knowledge critical for entrepreneurs and inventors. There are 2 other parts. Their links are provided at the bottom. Part 1 talks about the steps to become an entrepreneur. Part 3 talks about the elements of a startup. Let's begin Part 2. So what exactly is business? How does it differ from regular job and work? Think of business as a train running on a track. The train is expensive, and the track is expensive to build, but the train brings people benefits. It can carry goods cheaply, and it can carry passengers for an acceptable price. In the end, the train must be running to deliver some benefits to either the operator or the passengers, or else it will not get paid. Business is actually a form of science. A businessman or business builder must find what people want to pay. It is Agile Discovery. A major difference of a true business person and a first-time entrepreneur is that a true business person wants to make what people want to buy. An entrepreneur oftentimes wants to make something and hope that people buy it. We are all buyers one way or another. Being a seller is totally different. Having people pay you cash is an amazing act that is poorly understood by many. People only give you cash when they see a bargain in benefits. The difference of what people pay and what they get is called value. In fact, the role of business in society is not just to provide value, but to over-provide. Business don't just solve a problem or fill a need, it cultivates demand and monopolizes on the solutions. Business reduces the friction between the factory, the market and the customer so much that no one can compete with them even if you have the right idea. Let us take a quick 30-second break here. The world is strangely divided into two realms, the regular realm and the business realm. It is just like passenger trains and cargo trains can run side by side or on the same track, but one is regular living and one is for business. Business is not to fill a void. In fact, there are no voids to fill. Business competition is like climbing mountains. People can live anywhere, but business looks for peaks to occupy. There is easy life everywhere, but business compete only at the edge of waves. Business is not regular interest and passion. It is an extreme form of competition. Where there is business, there is always competition. If you do something that has no competition, it is proof there is no business yet. Business is like a global conveyor belt. It is called the supply chain. People on the supply chain hand things over to another, leading the raw material to be delivered as finished products. Goods are made in a factory and then shipped to a distributor. The wholesale distributor hands them to retailers, and the retailers are everywhere on the street, bridging the last mile to the customer. Sometimes it is done to the last meter by big ships like this. As you are a business, you cannot stand alone and just harvest money. If you want to do that, you will be totally ignored. Other business will ignore you because they have nothing to gain by helping you. In the end, even consumers will ignore you because you are your own credit. Money travels in the reverse direction of the supply chain. It is called the cash flow. It turns out only people in the passenger cars of a train has real spending power. Whatever people want to buy, there is a supply chain to cater to that. If customers don't buy, there is no supply chain, no efficiency, no business. Business is also largely marketing. If you are a man and you cannot market yourself to girls, you don't get a date. If you are a maker of a great product but you don't market, no one will hear about you and no one will miss anything. Marketing is to find yourself a spot on the supply chain. Note the supply chain is already formed. You have to compete for a spot on the team. Why marketing? Marketplace contains products from many suppliers. It is the reason why people go to shop and compare. In a regular market, you don't see salesmen. The market competitiveness is the sales. Business is to capture pricing power. In a market, on any aisle, there are price tags. Whoever can list the price favorably is said to have pricing power. Otherwise, you have to go in between the high-price player and the dirty low-cost player. The dirty player is also rather efficient. If you are a maker of apple, you cannot just name your price. You must be either a price setter or a price taker. In the latter case, your profit will be close to zero. You are just a middleman. The other day I bought a pineapple from Whole Foods for $1.80, whereas a US Postal Service mailing would cost $9. Go figure. The Whole Foods folks have done a tremendous job of reducing the cost, don't you think? Business is getting into the market and getting in front of potential customers. To be accepted into a market means two things. First, your products can make money and can help the market operator make money. Second, your product is viewed favorably against other competition products. To get into a market is like getting into a college. You must qualify for it. In business, you must go beyond your passion and skill. You build your product, build your store, build your market appeal, and drew customers to your store. There is also tremendous risks for a business to not start or not sustain. For example, people must like your products, you must be able to control your cost, you must be able to compete in the market. This balance can change any time. Business is always at risk, even Google, Tesla, and Apple. Why no one will help you sell? Because everyone is busy selling theirs. Business is building the track. Not only must you enter the market, you must compete with others who are already in the market. You must increase the efficiency to make sure you can make some profit, rather than just passing the money. That is why Amazon spends so much money to build the fleet. It is not just expansion. It is survival. What Amazon is doing is to dig the trench, build the road, build the fleet, build the canal, build the track, so products can move flawlessly from a small shop in China to the customer's door in the USA. Why? Because there is business. Why? Because you must build a monopoly to make sure upstarts don't take your work. Let's take a much-deserved break. Business is getting listed. In the world before the internet, people used the yellow page to list their company and services. Each company is listed in one category. The yellow page is like the local index on Google search. Today, Google is the global yellow page. You must find how you want your business to be listed. You don't want to be listed in a category called Other. Remember, no one will go find you. You help yourself by being found easily. You must survive first. Business is to dominate your niche. What kind of business can make one rich? What kind of business is good? The answer is every business. As long as you are number one, you can always make money. However, if you are number 2 or 3, you will have no profit and very little revenue. Business is trying to be number one in your niche silo. You can either think of it as digging under or climbing. In either case, business is competition. It is funny. The world seems very open, and yet businesses fight to dominate narrow niche. Business is relation. Business is trust first. If a customer have any doubt about you, they will not buy and pay. If your very presence in 5 years is doubtful, no one will order things from you because ordering from you will expose themselves to risks. In this regard, business and relationship is really the same. That is why there is a term called value proposition. A business is really proposing to the customer for a marriage, and hope the customer would nod. A customer must want to keep you. When someone becomes your customer, it is really like they become your family. They demand benefits, on top of what they paid price to you. People only buys benefits, either extremely low price or very high quality, or a free problem-solving tool. Business is competition of efficiency. Efficiency can only be achieved if you have enough customers. Let's go back to the example of the pineapple. How can Whole Foods offer a pineapple for $1.80, which is below the shipping cost? The answer is scale. The size matters. The size of the market, so-called ceiling, is how big you can grow to be. If the ceiling is low, you can never reach enough efficiency, which means you are always at risk of competitors. Overall, business is everything in life. If you want to build a business, it is much more than skills and interests. You must have store, products, customers, relations, and efficiency. There is no void for anyone to step onto. Even business itself is unnecessary, non-essential. A business founder must know that people don't have to buy anything. There is no such thing as needs or wants. Saving money is the biggest need for many. Business is just business. Business is not good or bad, not rich or poor. Business is just business. It is a way of living for some, a way of ambition for some, and a way of learning for many. Edited by Chang Liu, March 2021.
The overall idea of starting a business is not to make money. Making money or making profit is extremely difficult. It's a competitive act. If you can make money, other people want to copy you and they want to make more money. If you can make profit, other people will copy you and they would compete with you to make more profit. The way to make money is to realize where the money comes from. Money is the difference between the price and your cost multiplied by the volume of the sale. If the volume of the sales is very low, then you can only make money if your price is much, much higher than your cost, which is almost impossible in the internet world. Everybody knows what is your cost. It's very easy to look up. There's a reason we call this the capitalism society. Capitalism means people use capital to build up the machine that makes low-cost products that can be sold at low price. Because there's a large volume demand, the person who spent that much money on capital can still make money. That's the whole point. In the world of 2021 and beyond, the global supply chain plays a very important role in our everyday lives. For example, I live in America. I live in the USA. All the stuff that I buy from the supermarket are probably all made in China. What does that mean, made in China? It really means assembled in China. It's designed in America, but assembled in China. A global supply chain moves raw materials into parts, into components, and then the components are assembled into products. The products have to be designed by product companies, and the products eventually have to be sold through a retailer and a wholesaler. So in a global supply chain, for example, China plays a big role in manufacturing and assembly, but they don't own the products. For every dollar that an American and consumer spend, China makes probably 5 cents. The factory only makes 5 cents of it. Where does the rest of the money go? The rest is for the marketing channel. The marketing channel is extremely fat. It's extremely lucrative. You have to be careful when digesting this information. A lot of people are in business not because they make things, not because they manufacture things, but because they are in the channel. Being a middleman makes a lot of people's life easy and makes a lot of people be able to put bread on the table. This diagram shows that money that are spent by a consumer is diced up into many pieces, and different parts of the supply chain gets to keep a portion of it until the very upstream, until the very source. We discussed about the smiley curve before. On the smiley curve, you have the designer, the manufacturer, and the marketers. The designers add a lot of value. The designers are mostly residing in the USA. The manufacturers add a lot of value, but their price is really low because there's no barrier for them. So they typically reside in China, and the marketers are in the USA. Eventually, the end consumer feel that they get a good deal because they get something really, really cheap. But how is that possible? How is that possible that you have so many people along the chain and the end consumer can still pay something so cheap? That's because of the scale. If you do not have the scale, if you do not have the volume, no one would participate in the supply chain because it's not productive, it's not profitable.
If you have a startup, what is your job every day? How do you make sure you get funding? How do you make sure you make profits? Welcome to the Business, Innovation, and Entrepreneurship Series, Part 3. This part deals with elements of startup and building business. There are 2 other parts. Their links are provided at the bottom. Part 1 talks about the steps to become an entrepreneur. Part 2 talks about the elements of business. Let's begin. The goal of entrepreneurship is to build a business. A startup today must grow to become a corporate tomorrow. Business can be defined in many ways, but it is basically selling products to people. Business can also be viewed as letting people know you're offering, drawing them to it, and convert some of the traffic to sales. The sales is proof of benefit. Even Thomas Edison said, "Anything that does not sell, I would not invent." Its sales is ultimate proof of usefulness. Many young people with no business experience tend to view the entrepreneurship as some sort of change and advance. While this is certainly true, such notions drastically underestimate the difficulty of achieving your dream. If you think entrepreneurship is a way to think cleverly, to get rich, a way to solve problems for people, or a way to find a unique open opportunity, you might be ultimately disappointed after 4 to 6 years of trying. So here, let's talk about the truth. First, let's get some famous fallacies out of the window. To realize your dream, no one will help you. I repeat, no one will help you. Let me emphasize again, no one will help you. Investors would not help, and customers would not help. You must earn the trust. You must qualify for a spot in the market so you can compete, and you must sell everything you make. In order for others to buy, you must prove that you have unique benefits to them. You must control quality, so that you can control your cost, so that you can control your price. It is nice to have a dream, but you need to know whatever you create must survive first. An idea is always great, but it needs to be paired with a plan to execute the idea. Then, you must execute the plan. During the execution, you will find many surprises. Dealing with such surprises is the essence of startup. If you are confused, think of entrepreneurship and startup as dating and marriage. Think of IPO as getting married. Think of going to the market as logging into the dating website. A lot of what I will be talking about here will start to make more sense if you use this analogy. If you don't like the analogy of dating and marriage, then think in terms of learning to swimming or learning to ride a bicycle. In fact, there are many analogies. You can check out the links provided for a link to see many other analogies. I don't want to waste your time by telling you half-truth. I want to give you the happy whole truth. Business is not inventing something new. Business is a competition to fill any unfilled demand of a customer. Business is not to sell people what you want them to have. It is to sell them what they want to have. If you want to make something in the waterfall fashion and then find the buyer, you might be surprised at how difficult this model is. After you make something, you might just start a long journey to prove yourself wrong. Enough dealing with fallacies. Let's talk about something happy. We don't want to be negative. Life is too short to be negative. Startup is to embark on a journey of life that many people avoid. Entrepreneurship is experiencing full life. Life can have 3 stages. Most people only live one. Stage 1. Everything seems to make sense and seems easy. You are accepted into Harvard and then get a job at McKinsey. How wonderful. Many people are satisfied. However, some are curious what lies ahead. They endeavor to do business. In business, they find a new world. A world that no books ever describe. It is a world of surprises and so-called failures. After you poke the world enough, you will enter the third stage, where life is indeed easy and hard things are indeed easy again. You become an entrepreneur-minded person. You become a business-minded person. You become a new you. In this diagram, we illustrate a person's path in life in 3 phases: the comfort zone, the entrepreneur zone, and then the living zone. In the comfort zone, we have schools and jobs. This is the arranged life where most people just live. In the entrepreneur zone, nothing is what it seems. Your brilliant idea to save the world does not even get 10 audiences. It is there that you learn things that are never printed. The truth of the universe is simple. It is the truth, not what is right. Eventually, you establish your own business in the living zone, where your earnings can support your life. You might be satisfied, and you might even have a chance to get rich. But you must live in business zone first. To get to the living zone takes tremendous struggle. Every business is epic. Every business on the street got there this way. People like Elon Musk and Jobs moved to the living zone at very young age. Here is how an idea becomes a reality. First, an idea has to be made into an MVP, minimal viable product. It is called an artifact in business school. You must practice building it. Stop thinking, start building. Third step, you must validate that the product is safe. This validation process can only be made in factories, where you have enough such products being made. Once you have the warranty, you can seek acceptance into a marketplace where you can sell your products. Marketplace has customers. If people indeed pays you for your product, and they give you 5-star rating, your product has become a merchandise. How does someone become an entrepreneur? I hope you agree that to do anything, you must prepare. To go to school, we prepare. For a road trip, we prepare. Same thing for startup. The first step is to learn to sell things. Selling is a mindset and a skill. If you invented something world-changing, you still have to sell it. It is nice to have the mindset of a seller. In other words, the first step of startup is not to invent something based on a hunch. Although many people succeed based on this model, this is actually the wrong model. The rate of failure is exceedingly high, and many later regrets and later struggles can be avoided. In the second step, you must learn to build. You must build something, so you learn how to build. You must build your own dream, and you must sell your own products. No one will help. Remember what we said earlier. Step 3 is to sell what you build. This is the bulk of the entrepreneurship process. This is the obvious part. This is also where real earning starts. Step 4 is a lot of learning and a lot of struggle. The struggle is the only way to learn. Unfortunately, many people in the comfort zone spend all the time dreaming and never prepare, never focus. It is important to focus. This is the only way a life can become meaningful and immortal. When you focus, you find another world at the point of focus. Many people don't know how to start the start. You must take a stupid first step. The first step is always full of stupidity and regrets. Just do it. The only way to start is to start. In fact, start now, with what you have now. Any clever thinking before you start will quickly evaporate. Even if you fail, you did start. Don't shoot too high when you are starting first time. Don't try to become a billionaire in 7 years or 5, and don't try to start a unicorn company. For your first time, shoot low, and just shoot. The shooting is the start of learning. Remember, ideas mean nothing. Plans mean nothing. The execution of a plan is 99% of the work. Start doing it, because because you are to do it yourself. Ironically, many people fail because they shoot too high from the get-go. They never prepared. The investors always will check if you are a second-time entrepreneur, because they know it is a game of experience and humbleness. If you don't even know that anything is hard, how can you win? To succeed, you must go to the market to meet the customer. You must first get into the market. You must then attract customers to the market and to your store. And you must provide a compelling offer for customers to buy and pay. Speaking of investors, they are not your partner. Investors don't need you to return their money. However, they do not bet on you like someone betting on a horse in a horse race. They invest in you, much like a stockbroker invests in a stock. They invest in you because they want to one day sell their stock and make money from the stock sales. However, it is the private stock market. Most investors don't wait until you make money and until you make an IPO. They sell their private shares in your company to a private investor or another VC firm. The investors don't care about initial public offering. They care about initial private offering. They don't want to bet small on someone who might win. They want to bet big on a sure thing. Let's take a well-deserved break. Now let's talk about the part where you and your customers meet. It is where the rubber meets the road. To find such an idea, you don't look to the sky and universe. You grab a microscope. You enter a market. Why? Because there is another universe in there. You will find that your customers is not what you think they are. Just as you are unique, your intended customers are also unique. They don't buy things that claims to save their money, and they don't do things that can save their lives, in your opinion. They don't want what they need, and they don't need what they should want. However, they demand certain things. You must find it out. If you want a customer to think like what you think they should think, it is a long winding path and will end in a dead end. In business, there is no logic, there is only truth. After you find the demand, you must make the customer a promise. If you tell them, buy my SaaS software and you will save, it will mean nothing. If you say, buy my software for $20 a month and if you do not make $1,000 a month then I will pay you $1,000 a month, then they will buy. A sales pitch must be accompanied by a promise. The promise part is the hard part. People buy benefits. This is often referred to as bargain, or value, or usefulness. Whatever you call it, people don't buy things that does not benefit them uniquely. Sometimes your product can solve the problem for them, but however there is no benefit to solving that problem. For example, you can detect cancer with an advanced instrument, but so what? If I know I have cancer, but there is no cure, what is the benefit of knowing I have cancer? The 100% cure is the promise. You as a diagnosis product has just failed to make a sale. How do I know this? My friend started a company on nanotechnology cancer detection. The company received $100 million of investment and was listed on Nasdaq Stock Exchange. 5 years later, it was delisted. There is no customer. The company loses money every year. It is a true story. Now, let's talk your journey of entrepreneurship. As we said, you need to bring your products to the market, and you need to bring people to the market. It is a journey full of obstacles. The more obstacle there is, the better. Each obstacle will become a barrier for your competitor. Each barrier you hustle across is your protection. However, there are also many pitfalls. Pits go into the ground, whereas barriers rise above. Barriers are obvious, pits are hidden. The entrepreneurship startup job is to race through the race course. However, you are also doing this on a boat made of sand. You must cross the river before the boat dissolves. It is figurative, of course. It means every opportunity has a time window. The best way to describe the pits and risks is like holes in a parachute. The holes are only known to you when you are in the air. If there are 2,000 holes on a parachute, then each one can sink you and each one is unknown to you before you start. Books don't warn you. Popular reporters don't warn you. There is no warning sign to any interview of Elon Musk saying, "Danger, don't try this at home." Everyone praises Elon Musk, but no one knows his sufferings and struggles. If Elon Musk struggles, everyone struggles. Here is the startup diving chart. Think of a swimmer diving into the pool and then surface to swim. The dive is like looking into a microscope into a market niche. You must dive, otherwise you get nothing. But you also must surface. The dive takes money. It is either your own time, your own money, or investor money. Most money is spent on making quality consistent, proving there is buyer, and marketing your products. Significant spending is needed even if it is software and online business. Eventually, you start to draw revenue from your customers and the company starts to show signs of life. If you only dive but never surface, the company did not succeed. Unfortunately, the dive curve is a few years in the making. You only start to regret after 4 to 6 years. The point where you resurface from the water is called break even. Your earning and your spending are equal. Your company will not die an instant death. No jokes aside, an event like coronavirus can still hit you and push you under any time. From that point on, you need to grow and fend your turf. The dive and jump itself is easy. It is a sight to behold, but itself means nothing. There is no get-rich-quick luck. There is no instant fame or overnight sensation. These are all results of incomplete reporting. Success is nothing but talent who hustle very hard. However, people who are in the media and webinar selling business note that hard truth does not sell books, so they never talk about it. Let's take a second well-deserved break. When you start up, you start 3 things. First, you start a company. Second, you start a business. Third, you start a new you. Many people say the transformation of self is worth it, even if the company did not survive, and the business could not grow. To start a business is very different from running a business. To make a product does not mean you have business, and having business does not mean you have a company. Starting or registering a company also does not mean you have a business. In business, the ultimate goal is to create a brand, master the art of start, and reach your vision. But to be honest, one lifetime is often too short. Think of yourself as running on a track of schools and employment. To start up is to jump off the track. However, you must be careful. On the track, you are but a passenger. You are not the driver of that train or the people who lay the tracks. If you start up, you will need to build a new track. You will need to learn many things, including running the train, building the track, finding the customers, finding employees, and so on. You become the jack of all trade. This journey takes many iterations, even after you jump off the track. So you need to prepare while you are on the train. Never take your job for granted. Never take your corporate life for granted. Never becomes lazy. Life learning starts at the commencement. This is no joke or chicken soup. After you find business, after your company starts to run, you still need to grow it. You need to grow the profit, the efficiency, the number of products, and the number of customers. If you don't grow, others will catch up with you and eat your lunch. How do you actually leave the comfort zone? How do you get into business while not in business? How do you know you should take the plunge? The actual start part is actually counterintuitive. You must start. The only way to start is to start. The good ideas happen after the start. Imagine you are a surfer. Only when you are in the water can you enjoy the benefit of a wave. Waves come and go. You must be in the water to take advantage of it. The wave is called luck, serendipity, or inspiration, or vision. Whatever it is called, it is a reward for your daring move and your struggles. Where are the waves coming from? Every company will die, every society trend will change, every new science discovery will change the world, and laws can change the dynamics of the market. These are the waves you wait for. If you hear it and then plunge, you will have no proof, no scars, no badge of honor from struggles, no tears and sweat. Investors will never reward someone who is not dedicated. A CEO startup entrepreneur must juggle many things. The last thing on the list is technology. This is not to say technology is not important, it is to say technology is the least important. The CEO must get marketing, funding, and value propositions validated. Everyone takes time and experience, and mostly experience. Although inventing new things is fun, it is important to know that no one will buy anything unproven from anyone unproven. After all, your customer won't even know if they can return the products to you or not. Technology is often unstable. Until it is stable, you cannot control the cost. Until you can control the cost, you cannot name your price. Until you can name your price, you will be fast sinking. Here is a list of TR levels for U.S. government agencies. TR stands for Technology Readiness. Only technology with high TR levels can be transitioned to commercial use. To finish, here are 3 conclusions of caution. First, don't do anything that is quick to accomplish. Startup is long dig to find what customers demand. Second, never assume you can land in a void or vacancy. A void is often a commercial desert. Third, never assume things you don't see is not there. Startup entrepreneurship is the world's ultimate arena. It is lived by giants like Musk, Jobs, Gates, and Hewlett-Packard. Every big corporation today used to be a startup. However, to be among the giants takes an athlete and professional. Do it right, you will have rich, meaningful life and many stories to tell. Go out there and have some fun. See, at the end of the journey, your customer decides to buy from you, and your date decides to finally get married. A business startup is 1,000 times harder than finding a date and get married, but you get the idea. This recording is made March 2021 by Zheng Liu. What is the job of a CEO? How is a CEO